I think it was you or somebody else or your son said in the very first episode that in Ghana it's more like physical comedy as opposed to,
Right.
verbal. Is that something that you do in your routine anyways?
Well, um, maybe my middle son Josh he's the only physical comic out of the four of us, Joshua. But we have facial expressions that people go, oh my God, you can feel it with the facial expressions.
Hmm.
End up saying me, Hunter, and Isaiah, we're physical here comics. If
Right.
there's a joke that needs some physicality, we'll get to it, we'll do it. You know, but the writing is so clever and mainstream across the world that everyone gets it. If you understand the language, you're going to get the material. And all it takes is me and my sons to be in a city or country for maybe a day or two, and we can go around and we can write material about your town, your city, so the audience can relate to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Definitely the facial expressions
Pardon me.
of Gerald. You need some water, huh? Definitely the facial expressions and the animation that they bring to the stage is something that connects with the Ghanaian audience, as mentioned in the first episode. And that's something that they already had incorporated into their comedy. That's something they've done for a long time. With Gerald, his facial expressions when he's or his voice changes when he's talking from a third person perspective, like grandma or somebody like that. And so all of the kids, and they do all of that, they switch it up. And so that physical comedy piece was something that they already had. So going over there, we figured that this would work because we already had that in play. So yeah.
Nice. How did you guys meet?
How do we?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is when he said we met in a club, that is not true. Okay. It was not a club. Wasn't a club. It
Okay.
was an event. What it was
A ballroom at a hotel. We
yes.
had a. She's a music journalist, and I'm a comic. So she was there to see the group. There was a group there, I think,
That was
intro
performing,
performing,
and I was doing a write up
yeah,
on that group.
and one of the lead singer didn't show up, so the group
Well,
was
the lead singer passed away.
okay. Well, he didn't show up. Passed away. He didn't show up. I mean, tell me sorry. He didn't show up. I mean,
He couldn't show
if
up.
he would have showed up, that'd have been a different story. That'd have been something to talk about,
I
But
mean,
And
technically
Gerald
you're
was the
both right.
host. Yeah, well, yeah. But Gerald was the host of the actual event, and that's how we met. He kind of walked through the crowd and he was talking to people doing crowd work. And I was like, oh gosh, I hope he doesn't come over here and make, some people just don't want to be made fun of. So I was hoping that he wouldn't come over to my section and start cracking jokes. But he did come over to my section. He shook my hand and complimented me because I guess my hands were so soft. And after the show, he proceeded to have a conversation with me. I was actually trying to get back, me and my photographer were trying to get back to our side of town. So I was ready to go because I was highly disappointed about the show, but I was very entertained by the host. And so I held conversation with him after the show.
yeah, and we exchanged numbers, and I thought I struck gold. I was like, let me tell you how. Me and two other comics drove all the way back to New York, 2 hours and 20-minute ride back. And halfway, almost 30 minutes into New York, I go, I forgot to get paid. I forgot to get my money from the producer. And I was like, and there was no Zelle or Cash App and stuff like that then,
Right.
you know. So I'm like, one of my buddies said, dude, you was all into that girl, man. You forgot about your money. So I said, I'll call him. He'll get it to me some kind of way or whatever. But and I think we talked to each other that night, and then she disappeared. She disappeared. I'm like, what happened? No call, no talking, no return of calls, or nothing no more. So I was like, okay, oh well. So New Year's Eve hits, months later. I'm out of the country performing. I think I'm in Bermuda, the Bahamas, somewhere performing. And you know, you get all the Happy New Year's texts coming in, and it came through. I sent the Happy New Year's text to her.
Everybody. It was a group
text. And in the group, people were responding, but when she responded, I was like, oh, that's her. That's her. That's her. Oh my God. She's texting me personally, Happy New Year's. But all she was doing was responding to the group text. That's it.
That's a Happy New Year's too. And from there, we started texting back and forth, and then we started having phone conversations because he was in New York, I was in Massachusetts, and then one day it was wintertime. We decided to go on a date, and he came to my town. And the first date was Gerald, myself, and our children.
That's true. When I brought my middle son with me. Josh was young.
He was the youngest.
Yeah, he was youngest at the time. The Hunter wasn't even born, but when I left New York, the weather was beautiful. When I came up to Massachusetts, I was like, "What in the world?" It was cold already, freezing,
it was snowing
and everything. And I go to sit down with this beautiful woman, and she had about 9 kids. I'm like, "How many kids?"
Adding kids on every time we tell this story.
It's about 11 kids.
3
I'm like,
children.
3. Yeah, 3 children, and it was beautiful. I was like, you know what? I love kids. I'm joking, but I love kids, and we all hung out, and I think we you didn't go back home. Did you hang out? Did we hang out?
Yeah, we hung out for a little while.
Hung out for a little while, and I had to go get a hotel room with me and my little son, and her and her kids went back to their place, and I was like, yes. And it's been on since, and then until we hit this bump recently.
Which a lot of relationships go through ups and downs, right? And it's really about figuring it out and just making sure that both parties are being seen, valued, heard, appreciated, finding that balance, even juggling the kids and the careers and all these things. And so, that's where we are when we did the as you see in the first episode, and we continue to work on ways to get back to that place. So we'll see how it goes.
If you want to watch the full conversation of this clip, be sure to click here, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.